Welcome, everybody, to LA Press Box. Once again, we come together for the sports community for LA fans. And today we've got another broadcast where we're going to be talking about the Dodgers. Dodgers lost the last game, hoping that they're going to bounce back today against the White Sox. So, at this point, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 44-26, first in the National League rankings, National League West that is, second in the National League, and then second overall, in both cases, a game and a half behind the Atlanta Braves. Today they play the Chicago White Sox, as they did yesterday, who are first place in their division, the AL Central. Their record is 37-31. Today's lineup includes starting pitchers Yoshinobu Yamamoto. His record is 6-4, and he has a 2.68 ERA. He has 73 strikeouts on the year. For the White Sox, they're going to send out Sean Burke. His record is 3-3. He's got a 3.88 ERA with 67 strikeouts. Dodgers are favored, as they are almost every time this year. And the Chicago White Sox, however, are going to try to keep up an 8-game home win streak, which they kept alive when they played the Dodgers yesterday. They are actually 23-11 in home games and 37-31 overall. The White Sox have an 18-7 record in games when they did not give up a home run. So, of course, they're going to try to do that today. But that might be a little bit of a challenge with Shohei Ohtani back in the lineup. He's kind of day-to-day with some knee inflammation. And just lately has been his strongest stretch this season. I'd say the last 2 weeks, in terms of not just batting average, but the ability to hit home runs. So we'll see how he does in his normal leadoff DH position today. LA's got a 22-14 record in road games and a 44-26 record overall. LA has hit 94 total home runs to rank second in the entire major leagues. And their batting average is also second in the major leagues. This is going to be the second time that they're meeting this season. For the White Sox, the top performers include Miguel Vargas, who has 11 doubles, a triple, and 16 home runs for the White Sox. Tristan Peters is 12 for 32 with 7 doubles, triple, and 7 RBIs just over the past 10 games. Shohei leads the Dodgers with a 305 batting average, and he's just hit 300 and then clipped over the 300 average in the last month. So this has been his best stretch hitting, especially as the Dodgers tried to find the perfect match and balance between him pitching and hitting, and occasionally stealing bases, even though he stole 50 bases a couple seasons ago. Freddie Freeman's also doing really well in the last week. He hit his 2,500th hit, and he's 14 for 39 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs over the last 10 games. Dodgers are still in great position in terms of the standings for the major leagues, but they're still kind of a little bit hobbled. They have some of the starters that they've had over the course of their playoff run and championship run the last 2 seasons, kind of in and out of the lineup. Kike Hernandez, Teoscar, a few different players have really struggled with injuries on and off, and Shohei is the most recent one. We'll see if he's hampered at all today. As you can see, the matchup predictor shows the odds of the Dodgers winning 2-1. Even though the White Sox are playing well, and they have been a surprise this year amongst major league teams. On the left-hand side, you can see the lineup for today. Batting first in the DH position is Ohtani. Second in center field is Andy Pages, a home run leader by 1 over Max Muncy at this point. And a lot of Dodgers fans are pushing for Andy to become an all-star. He's not a name that promotes himself or that gets promoted a whole lot outside of the Dodgers organization, but if it was just based on performance at this point in this season, he's definitely deserving to make the All-Star team. So we'll see how the voting goes. Batting third is Freddie Freeman at first base. Fourth, cleanup position, is Mookie Betts, who's really struggled with the bat this season. He was a little bit better the previous week up until yesterday when he was hitless. So we'll see if he can continue to try to climb his way out of this hole. He doesn't have the power that he used to. He was in early today in the cages trying to get his swing down so that he can make more consistent contact and get on base more often. In the fifth position, playing third base next to Mookie at shortstop, is Max Muncy. Kyle Tucker, who really has continued to struggle. He only has a .234 average at this point. Is after that in right field. Batting seventh is Ward. In left field, catching once again is rushing, because Will Smith is one of those injuries of Dodger All-Stars and primetime performers over the last couple of seasons in their championship runs. But rushing's done an admirable job, both behind the plate, hitting, and running the bases, creating some havoc. Sometimes he's a little bit immature and makes some mistakes on the base paths, but he also puts pressure on the defense. So we'll see if he can do that again today. And then finally, it's Alex Freeland playing second base. For the White Sox, up first in left field is Antonacci. Second, third base is Vargas. The DH in third is Benintendi. Cleanup shortstop is Montgomery. And then right field is B. Montgomery. Second base is Meadroff. First base, Gonzalez. In the eighth position is Peters playing center field. And then finally in the ninth position is Quero, who is the catcher. You can see here who the batting leaders are at this point for both teams. Andy Pages with 15 home runs, as we mentioned before. He's batting .278, and he's hit 56 RBIs, 56 runs batted in. Ohtani with a .305 average, highest average on the team, .421 on-base percentage, and a .543 slugging percentage. And you also see Pages at the bottom there as far as RBIs. On the White Sox side, you can see Murakami, Meadroff, and Vargas as their batting leaders. .110 first pitch, and we'll be right back after a brief commercial. All right, we are about to start off. Shohei coming up. Looking fresh, looking eager. Got yesterday off as a result of his knee inflammation. Early on in the series against the Pirates last week, on a night when they jumped out to a lead on us. They were pitching Paul Skeens, last year's Cy Young Award winner. It was 2-2 in the seventh. We had a couple of runners on, and Shohei came up. A lot of the fans were chanting overrated, and right on cue, it's a double. Starts to bust the whole thing open. And we scored 10 runs in that seventh inning. So Shohei coming into the box, measuring his spacing. In 67 games, he's hit 13 home runs with 40 runs batted in. Burke on the bump, ready to deliver the first pitch. And it's high for a ball. 1-0. I do not like these uniforms for the White Sox. They look like the Atlanta Falcons. Second pitch. High and inside. It's a strike. Ohtani belts it for a home run! First swing of the game. Absolutely tremendous. Showing no effects of the day off and the knee swelling. I'm guessing it's completely gone, and it's time for Shohei showtime. Atta baby Shohei. Wow. It was in the upper inside portion of the strike zone, and he got all of it. I mean, you could tell pretty much right away that that was going to be gone. So, early 1-0 lead, and that brings up Andy Pages, our most consistent batter in all categories this season. First pitch is low and outside. There's such a difference when Shohei doesn't pull his head and isn't too over eager to make contact. Second pitch, swung on and missed for a strike. Counts 1-2. 1-2. Into the dirt for the second ball. 2-2. .94-mile-per-hour fastball, and Shohei just got all of it. Next pitch, right on the upper edge of the strike zone. Pages goes down looking. Stands in disbelief. And challenges it, but it was a strike. So we're already losing a challenge early in the game. I feel like you got to manage your players for when they challenge more consistently. You got to tell them, look, these are the situations you're allowed to challenge, and these are the situations you're not allowed to challenge. It has to be a key situation. So, one down, nobody on. And 1-0, Freeman up to bat. Freeman flies it to left field for the second out. So that brings up Betts. Struggling. And you don't normally see a cleanup hitter batting 181. Dave Roberts likes to shift guys in the order. They're not very consistent other than Shohei being first and Freddie Freeman usually being in the top three in terms of who bats where in the order. I think some of the thinking is, see if you can help a guy, especially when he's struggling, to find a different groove or a different feeling. Because Mookie is not the person to be driving in runs, which is what you would normally expect somebody to be doing on a regular in the fourth position. Mookie drives the count to 3-1 with 2 outs. And the pitch. Lower part of the strike zone, looks at it, 88-mile-an-hour slider. So, full count. Makes contact, kind of a slow roller. Into the hole, and too much of a stretch for the shortstop to get to. Mookie's on. I think they're going to rule this an infield single. Not strong contact. Hit it straight down, right behind the back of the pitcher. And just too slow and too far to get to. Mookie will take a hit however he can get it. So, number 5 batter playing third base, Max Muncy is up, batting .262. First pitch is outside. So 2 outs with Mookie on first. And the second pitch on the way from Burke. Just a little high. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-0. Hitters count. Only thing better is 3-0. So hopefully Max is looking for something he can drive. The pitch from Burke, outside, 3-0. Question is, do you give him a green light, you make the pitcher throw a strike? I think Max is the kind of guy you let swing even though it's 3-0. Oh, it's in the sweet spot. 95-mile-an-hour fastball over the right field fence. 3-0. Max Muncy with a 2-run home run. Atta baby Dodgers. Love it. 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity. Wow, that was just cheese. That was the perfect spot for a guy like Max Muncy, who's a little short, Pretty compact. It was like mid-numbers level, just a little bit inside. So he was able to turn on that, get the fat part of the bat, and there was no doubt. That was even further than Shohei's home run. And with his 15th home run this season, he leads third baseman in the National League for home runs. So Kyle Tucker comes up, hoping to get in on the early party. Swings an inside ball and fouls it to the right, bringing the early count to 0-2. So 0-2 with 2 outs. And Burke in the windup. Curveball low. Tucker does not make strong contact. Pops it out to left for the easy third out. Drops his head right away. He's not in a good headspace right now. But at the end of the top of the first, Dodgers going deep twice for the early lead, 3-0. All right, Yamamoto with a nice early 3-0 lead on the bump for the Dodgers. First pitch, right on the lower edge of the strike zone for strike one. Another pitch in the exact same spot for strike two from the World Series MVP from last season. One of the best starts for a pitcher in Dodger history. Pitch number 3, also in the strike zone, but up this time, fouled off. Still 0-2. His last 4 starts, Yamamoto's 3-1, and his ERA is just a hair under 1. Next pitch is inside, into the dirt for ball 1. The thing about this guy is, you know, if you're going to hit something off of him, you got to be willing to take a cut on something that's on the edge of the strike zone, because he's not usually going to put it right down the middle. He's going to throw strikes with great control on the edges. Next pitch for a ball. 2-2 on the first batter from Yamamoto. Pitch. Strike 3. Swing and a miss. And 1 down. So now the number 2 batter, Vargas, batting .251 with 16 runs batted in. And another pitch with great placement, right in the corner of the strike zone. Low and away for strike 1. Wind up and the second pitch on the way. Just high and inside. Third pitch, low and outside. 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch with 1 out by Yamamoto. Big curveball. Great contact, but right to Muncy. Didn't even have to take a step. Good contact. I mean, it was hat high to Muncy. Did not have to take a step. And Muncy's not just an outstanding third base hitter, but he's a great fielder too, so that was no problem. 2 outs, next batter up, and first pitch swung on. Grounded out to Freddie Freeman, underhands it to Yamamoto. That's the end of the inning. 3 outs. Going to the top of the second inning. 3-0 Dodgers. So, trying to start up top of the second inning, and Ward was getting ready to get into the box, but it looks like there's some kind of communication difficulty with the pitcher. You know, the old days when the catcher used to flash signals between his legs to the pitcher to suggest pitches, those days are gone. Now they have a microphone. And he talked to the pitcher in his ear, but For some reason, I guess there's an issue with that. Looks like it mounts inside the hat. On the side of the hat, right over the ear. Kind of like they use in football now. And they mount microphones that are one way. So the coach, whoever's communicating with the player, makes their suggestions, and the player doesn't talk back, they just listen. So in the case of baseball, they'll just nod yes or no and communicate what it is that they plan to do with the catcher, so the catcher doesn't end up having a wild pitch and try to get past him. Anyway, the communication system seems to be back up and running inside the pitcher's cap. So now 1-2 count to Ward. Ward being extra protective. That last pitch was pretty much in the dirt, and he swings on it anyway, but fortunately makes contact, and it's a foul ball, so he's still alive 1-2. Next pitch, big breaking knuckle curve, just high out of the strike zone. And it's 2-2. Next pitch, drops right in the strike zone. Ward makes good contact, but right to the second baseman for an easy out. And number 67 trots right back to the dugout. First out. So coming up with a 277 average and 8 home runs, the catcher rushing. First pitch from Burke. Just a little bit high, ball 1. Pitch on the way, nice breaking knuckle curve. Started above the strike zone and barely hit the bottom of the strike zone when it arrived across the plate. 1-1. Next pitch on the way, just high and outside. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-1. Two-one pitch with 1 out on the way, outside, ball 3. So rushing pushes the count to 3 balls. Slight wind gust starting to pick up now. And the next ball, whoa, that was about as close as it could be. Called a ball. No challenge. So rushing. It's going to first. First walk of the game for Burke. That brings up the 9-hitter, Alex Freeland, batting .235. First pitch in for a strike. And Freeland's got an extra long shield. You know, a lot of these guys have these shields on the arm that faces the pitcher. No big deal. Protects his upper arm and his tricep. This thing extends out like he's a medieval fighter, and it's got to extend at least 3 inches. But very quickly the count is 0-2 on Freeland. Burke would love to get a double play on him so he doesn't have to face the top of the order with Ohtani on deck. The 0-2 pitch. Oof. Knuckle curve fooled him. Watch this pitch. Starts high and drops so low. I mean, the table just drops out. So difficult to hit in the major leagues. And you got to face that. You got to face fastballs of over 100 miles an hour. Got to be able to adjust to every guy. So Ohtani comes up with 2 outs and a man on first. And looks at the first pitch for a strike. Second pitch, way wild. I mean, the catcher almost had to jump to catch that. Give him a lot of credit for doing so. Otherwise, that would have put Rushing in scoring position at second base. And another ball, 2-1 to Ohtani. Back into the box. Does a pointing gesture at the pitcher. He's trying to line up a field goal. Maybe the pitcher should do that because the next pitch is outside for ball 3. 3-1. Great count for Shohei. 2 outs and a man on first. So Burke throws the first, trying to catch Rushing, getting an early jump on Shohei swinging. Although there's not 2 strikes, so he's not automatically gone. Now Burke comes home and misses ball 4. So walks Shohei Ohtani. And now, with 2 outs, runners on first and second. Not a great start for Burke. And Pages comes up, 0 for 1 so far on the day. First pitch, right on the edge of the strike zone. Strike 1. Next pitch on the way, low and outside, ball 1. It's a good spot for Andy because he has 2 people that can run really well on base. Obviously, Shohei stole 50 bases not long ago in a season and hit 50 home runs in the same season. And Freeland can burn. So he makes good contact in the right spot. He could bring home 2 runs. Pitch is high for ball 2. 2-1. Burke is already up to his 47th pitch. And another one of those knuckle curves, big drop. Pages takes a big swing, but it goes nowhere. Strike 2. He's got 2 necklaces on. He's got 2 chains. I feel like that would bug me. That would distract me. But obviously, it works for him. Pages steps out, restraps his gloves. So first and second with 2 out. And the 2-2 pitch to Pages. Swung on, strike 3. And 3 outs for the Dodgers. Middle of 2, 3-0 for Los Angeles. All right, so Yamamoto back on the mound. And first pitch once again on the edge of the strike zone. Strike 1. Second pitch outside, swung on. Second base. For out number 1. Pretty easy work for Yamamoto so far, or should I say, outstanding performance. This brings up Montgomery, swinging on the first pitch for strike 1. Pitch number 2, huge, slow dropping curveball, 78 miles per hour, catches the strike zone for strike 2. Pitch 3 right on the edge. They could have challenged that, but they decide not to. Count is 1-2. That's okay. Right now, he's got great control. Fourth pitch on the way. This one right on the edge for strike 3. Man. What a tough challenge for these batters today. So nobody on and 2 outs all of a sudden. The bottom of the second for Yamamoto. Number 18 about to deliver to Meadroff. Painting the edges again. This one just a little bit inside for ball 1. Pitch number 2 with 2 outs. Check swing. And yeah, the first base umpire says he went. Strike 1. Next pitch, a curve. Fouled off for strike 2. 1-2. Chase Meadroth went to Mira Costa High School in Southern California and University of San Diego. That's where my kids went. Daughter just graduated in the last month. My son a few years before that. Next pitch on the outside edge. Count is 1-2. Yamamoto with the delivery, well outside. Slider, 86 mile an hour. Count is 2-2. Pitch on the inside corner. Two and two. Wonder if he'll hit him with one of those big curveballs. Oh no. High fastball, 98 miles an hour for strike 3. So far, Yamamoto is on shutdown mode. So the University of San Diego Torero goes down swinging. And that brings us to the end of the second inning. Still, Dodgers 3, White Sox 0. So Burke still on the mound, and Freddie Freeman to start off the third inning. First pitch, inside for a ball, 1-0. Looks right now like the one pitch that's really difficult is that knuckle curve, and it's brutal. But if we can figure that out and make him have to go to a different pitch, he's going to be in trouble. I mean, obviously he's down 3-0 as it is. Next pitch fouled off by Freddie, and he's kind of shaking his head like maybe he shouldn't have swung at that one, although it was in the strike zone, and that's one he has golfed countless number of times. Next pitch inside and fouled off as well, and Freddie looks a little bit exasperated. This just doesn't feel comfortable. Count is 1-2. Next pitch on the way. High for ball 2. 2-2. Burke with the delivery, And inside at least a few inches. Freddie looks at it, takes it for ball 3. Full count with no outs. What is up with these uniforms? I mean, I'm just trying to figure them out. Because the red and black. This is not the traditional White Sox uniform that you're used to seeing. And I know there's only so much to be said for tradition. You know, you have to evolve. You got to have alternate uniforms and stuff. This is weird. Just clashy. Just bad. I think red, black, and white can look good together, but not the way that they have. Freddie swings at strike 3. So Freddie battles like he normally does, but goes down swinging for the first out, and that brings up Mookie Betts. Nice first pitch on the upper corner for strike 1. Next pitch inside, sinker for ball 1. Talk about chains. I mean, Mookie's got this huge gold chain, and then he's got a bat and baseball hanging off the chain. And, you know, whatever works. Because I know he's had that for years. But I think for a lot of us, if you're not a Mookie Betts, or you're not one of these guys that they have that have been all-stars and top players in the league, you can do without the distractions. So, Mookie drives the count to 3-1. Next pitch is up high. Next one is in the strike zone, swung on and hit up the middle. Base hit for Mookie. And suddenly he's 2-2. Not making strong contact, but placing the ball well. I mean, it was more or less the same spot that he hit last time, only a little closer to the second base bag, and no way for the shortstop to make a play on this one. So, once again, he'll take it. And that'll bring up Max Muncy. Hit a 2-run home run last time on Burke. First pitch is up high for a ball. Last time he was up in the zone and threw a fastball. It was just, I mean, it was just teed up for Max. And it was more or less the same thing to Shohei. So, obviously trying to make some adjustments. Second pitch is in for a strike. Swung on and fouled back. Count is 1-1. Next pitch. High outside corner for a strike. Oh, they called it a ball. Didn't challenge it. 2-1, we'll take it. So the 2-1 pitch with Mookie on first. High for ball 3. This catcher, I think it's just ridiculous, having played catcher myself. Obviously not at this level. But when you're trying to frame the ball and it's like a foot outside of the strike zone and you pull it back into the strike zone after the fact, come on. Especially with how much pressure is on these umpires now, because they're competing against the computer. Next pitch is a ball, and he walks him, and he was afraid to give him something to swing on. That 2 home run inning was like PTSD for this guy. So runners on first and second with 1 out. Mookie on second base with enough speed to score on a hit. Getting up there in years, but can still do it, I think. And then Max on first Kyle Tucker up. And first pitch is fouled off. Just does not look comfortable, has not looked comfortable for weeks. Shakes his head after some half-hearted swings. Really hope he can get on track. And there's no better time than now. So 0-1, pitch to Tucker. Inside, turns on it to right, and it drops into right field for a base hit. Mookie's coming around from third, and he's going to score for the fourth run for the Dodgers. And Muncy goes from first to third. Good for him. So Kyle Tucker turns on an inside pitch. Clearly a hit. Oh, about 15 feet in from the right field foul line. So the right fielder had to go a little ways to get there. And they didn't even try to make a play at the plate for Mookie Betts. So that brings up Ward with the score 4-0. Still only one out. Runners on first and third. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. The pitch, and Tucker steals second. They don't even try to throw him out. Goes in standing. And just like that, we have runners on second and third. Scoring position with one out, and a great opportunity for the 7-hitter Ward. Wow, next pitch is way outside and up, 3-0. Kind of feels like the wheels are starting to come off for Burke. The catcher signals to him to settle down, but they might want to call a quick timeout and have a quick conference at the mound. Next pitch, in there for a strike, 3-1. So the 3-1 pitch with only one out. On the way, inside, ball 4. Burke turns away from home plate in a little bit of disgust. And sending out a coach to the mound. They're definitely having a conference now. Burke is already up to 73 pitches. It's only the third inning. He's only gotten 7 outs so far. I'm going to leave him in, though. I don't know how long this is going to last. We'll find out shortly. So, Dylan Rushing coming up with one out and bases loaded. Definitely has the power to be able to hit a home run. First pitch, swung on and fouled off. Strike one. He's built kind of similar to Muncy. I don't know if he's shorter than Muncy. Doesn't seem quite as thick. But of course, you'd love to see a grand slam. He's got the capability of hitting a grand slam. Second pitch blown by him for strike 2. 0-2. You really don't want to hit into a double play. So 0-2 pitch with bases loaded. Looks at it, strike 3. Don't tilt your head at the umpire, dude. That wasn't even close. It wasn't down the pipe, but it was way inside the strike zone. So Alex Freeland comes up with bases loaded and 2 outs. And curve, first pitch, hit to second base for an easy put out. And that's 3 away. So not able to bring in any of those runners with bases loaded. But we did get one, thanks to Kyle Tucker. And the score is now Dodgers 4, White Sox 0. All right, so Yamamoto back on the mound. And he's been doing a great job painting the edges. A little first pitch of this inning. Squarely down strike zone, 95-mile-an-hour strike. Second pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 2. What a contrast. He's not even to 30 pitches yet. And Burke's in the upper 70s. I wonder if they'll let him continue next inning. Two-thirds of Yamamoto's pitches have been thrown for strikes this year. Top 10 in the major leagues. And really, I mean, that's the first thing you have to do is be able to throw strikes. 0-2, the number 7 batter, Gonzalez. Up high, check swing. They check with the third base umpire, and he says no, it didn't go, so that's ball one. It was close. Next pitch. On the edge, swung on and fouled off. Still 2 strikes. Jacob Gonzalez, the number 7 hitter, was born in Glendora, California. A lot of great baseball played in SoCal. Place not far from where I grew up, Glendora, California. Next pitch fouled off. Count is still 1-2. Next pitch, huge curveball. But Gonzalez is battling. Count stays where it is. Next pitch, high and inside for a ball. 2-2 with no outs. Slow, deliberate rock back by Yamamoto. Thrown and fouled off at the bottom lower edge of the strike zone. Still 2-2. Gonzalez really making Yamamoto work here. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So 1 away. So the 8-hitter, Tristan Peters, comes up with a healthy batting average, almost at 300, and 20 RBs. First pitch for a strike. Second pitch on the edge. Fastball for strike 2. Man, he puts so much pressure on you. You got to be kind of aggressive and ready early on. Otherwise, you just blink and you're all of a sudden behind in the strike zone. Behind in the count. Pitch number 3 up high, fouled back. Still 0-2. You almost have to hope that he's going to make a mistake on the mound, but that's not a great plan. Pitch 37 so far from Yamamoto. The delivery, outside, ball 1. Makes you wonder if a ball that's that far outside is completely on purpose, just to see if the guy will chase. Pitch grounded to the right side, and second base flips it to Freddie Freeman for the easy out. So 2 away at the bottom of the third. Bringing up the catcher, Kettle. First pitch just outside, ball 1. Next pitch, fly to center. Pages under it easily for the 3rd out of the inning. With Yamamoto in great control to this point. And we are going to the top of the 4th with Shohei Ohtani leading off. And the Dodgers with a 4-0 lead. So Shohei up after hitting his 5th leadoff home run this season. I think I've seen every one. It's just absolutely awesome to behold. First pitch for a strike. Count 0-1 to Shohei Ohtani. Next pitch in the dirt, ball 1. And they still have Burke in there. I'm surprised. I mean, yes, he finished strong last inning after the huddle at the mound. See if he can keep it going. Next pitch, definitely outside. Looks more like the Burke that we had leading into that huddle on the mound. So the 2-1 pitch to Ohtani. Next one way high. Through that knuckle curve, but it started above Shohei's head, and then once it finally broke, it stayed above the strike zone. So the count 3-1. And then walks Shohei. I'm so greedy when Shohei's up. What matters the most is that we win. That's what I want the most. I'm sure that's what most Dodger fans and LA sports fans want the most. But man, when he walks, you feel just a little bit robbed, even though it's just as good as a base hit. So Paje is up and hits it to center field for a base hit. Good early aggression. Drives it down right behind the pitcher. Over the mound, no way that the shortstop or the second baseman can get it. So this is the Burke that we saw most of last inning, and even the inning before. No outs, runners on first and second. Which brings up Mr. Clutch. Freddie Freeman. Freddie's 0 for 2 so far. First pitch. Ooh, right down the pipe. Fouls it back for strike 1. And like I said earlier, he just doesn't look completely comfortable. And you can see it in his body language. That was a pitch he could have easily driven. Next pitch. Outside. Ball 1. 1-1. We've had a lot of runners on early today. This inning's no exception. The 1-1 pitch. Low and outside, but Freddie with a check swing strike. 1-2. One-two pitch. Freddie makes contact right up the middle. Easy double play for the shortstop. Was able to field it about 2 steps from the bag, step on it, and then an easy throw to first for the double play. So Shohei advances. He's on third with 2 outs. And brings up Mookie Betts, who's 2 for 2. See if he can get another hit and drive in another Dodger run. First pitch for a ball, 1-0. Next pitch, number 90, inside for ball 2. So good hitters count for Mookie, 2-0. Shohei on third and 2 outs. Takes a strike for 2-1. Next pitch on the way. Strike 2. So 2-2 with 2 outs. Oh, and looks at strike 3. Beautiful placement by Burke on the lower edge of the strike zone. So leave a runner stranded. 3 outs. And Dodgers are going to bring back Yamamoto. All right, Antonacci up to start the inning. First pitch is a ball. Top of the lineup. Yamamoto going strong. Second pitch. Fly to right field. But not much trouble for Kyle Tucker. One away. So that brings up number 2, Vargas, who has been on a roll lately, but 0 for 1 so far in this game. First pitch to him. Upper edge of the strike zone. Strike 1. Here comes the 45th pitch from Yamamoto. Inside for a ball, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch with 1 out to Vargas. Caught him in on the hands and just kind of bloops it straight to Freddie Freeman at first base for out number 2. Easy play. Wow, these guys look toothless against Yamamoto. So that brings up Benintendi, number 3 hitter, who's 0 for 1. Only batting .234 this year. And the first pitch is in for a strike. Second pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 2. 0-2. With 2 outs. The pitch. Grounded to first. Absolutely no problem, no challenge for Freddie Freeman once again. 3 away. And Yamamoto's working on a gem today. At the end of 4, Dodgers 4, White Sox 0. Max Muncy about to come up. All right, so Muncy coming up. And the first pitch of the 5th inning, swung and fouled back for strike 1. Strike 2. Fouled away. Still 0-2. Muncy battling. Next pitch is in there, but just misses for a ball. And makes contact, high bounce in front of the pitcher. Pitcher bobbles it, and Muncy's in to first base. My gosh, this pitcher had to grab at this ball twice. We'll take it. Runner on first. Oh, and 1 to Tucker with no outs, and fouls an inside pitch off for 0-2. Tucker's 1 for 2 today. Ooh, pitch hits him square in the back, not even close. Wow. Hit him in the lower back, right above the right hip bone. So, new pitcher Rock is in, but off to a rough start. Rocky start for the Rock. And so now no outs, men on first and second. Brings up Alex Call. First pitch is swung on for a strike. 0-1. Rock delivers the second pitch well inside for ball 1. 1-1. Alex Call's batting .268. No home runs on the season. Count is 1-1. Makes contact. Straight to the second baseman. Flips it to the shortstop for 1 and 2. So the Dodgers hit into another double play. And once again have a runner in scoring position on third, but with 2 outs. And that's going to bring up the catcher, Rushing, who's 0 for 1 on the day. See if we can extend the gap. First pitch, low and outside. Catcher digs it in the dirt. Ball 1. Next pitch inside, and Rushing starts to check swing, and it hits him on the left elbow. So the second Dodger hit by a pitch in this inning for the Rocky Rock. He's got a great jawline, this pitcher. Looks a little bit like Max Headroom. But terrible control this inning. So 2 away, runners on first and third. Wonder if they'll send Rushing like they did before and see if he can just get into a scoring position for Miguel Rojas the way that Kyle Tucker was able to early on. Rojas has been doing well lately. First pitch, lasered down the left field line, but just foul. 0-1. I mean, talk about a guy, Miguel Rojas, who's just thankful for the opportunities he gets. He's been a great player for a long time. He's on the edge of his tail end of his career. Will play pretty much any position the Dodgers ask him to, and they ask him to play them all, including relief pitcher when the game's out of hand. Second pitch inside, fouled back for strike 2. And just kind of takes it in stride. Clutch performance at the right time in the World Series last year. Count 0-2, the pitch. And hit to the shortstop, who makes a nice play for out 3 to end the inning. So another runner left on base in scoring position for the Dodgers. They got really upset with himself at the end of that play. But the result is the same. And the score is still 4-0. All right, now we're going to the bottom of the fifth. No hits for the White Sox. Yamamoto working on perfection. I'm not afraid to say that out loud. I know some people believe in jinxes. They say, hey, he's got a no-hitter so far. You know, they're afraid to say that because then, it's like you're counting your chickens before they're hatched. And then suddenly, whatever it is that was going well goes south for you. But if there's only one superstition I have, it's being superstitious. So, Yamamoto starts with the ball. And then throws another for ball 2. Pitch drops in there, curveball for strike 1, 2-1. Next pitch, down low, just above the dirt for ball 3. First time today, Yamamoto's had a 3-ball count. Thrown to the 4-hitter, Montgomery. Wind up the delivery and pops straight up. High fly ball in the infield, no problem for Freddie Freeman for the first out of the inning. These guys come out of the batter's box just shaking their head. So, 1 away. Yamamoto still perfect. Throwing the no-hitter. And the first pitch is outside, ball 1. Next pitch. Catches the outside edge of the strike zone. Strike 1. 1-1 with 1 out. The bottom of the 5th. 5-hitter. Montgomery up. In the strike zone. Fly to center field. Paez takes 2 steps like he's on vacation and makes the catch, no problem. 2 away. Wow. Not only do the White Sox not have any hits, like the outs that our defense have made, they have not had to work hard at all. Just completely ineffectual hitting so far. Line drive without a whole lot of power to it, straight to Muncy. Freddie Freeman's been busy with a lot of just limp hits. Paez, easy time in center field. Just so dominant. 2 outs. The count to the next pitcher, next hitter is 1-1. Pitch inside, driven hard to the left. And foul. Just a dangerous out. Sorry, dangerous strike for 1-2. So the no-hitter is still alive for Yamamoto. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-2 pitch on the way. High in the strike zone, painting the edges again. Neidroth fouls it back. Count stays at 1-2. Two-out delivery from Yamamoto. High and inside. Count still 1-2. Neidroth's 0 for 1. Everybody's 0 for today. See what he can do here. Pitch is well inside, swung on. Neidroth trying to protect the plate. Fouled down the left field line, out of bounds. Still 2 strikes. So 2 outs, 1-2 pitch. Outside the strike zone, swung on, strike 3. 3 up, 3 down again for Yamamoto. And the no hit is still alive. Let's see if they bring Rock back out. Man, that was a rough inning he had, although he was able to get out of it somewhat unscathed because of the double play. Should have been some serious damage from the Dodgers. weren't able to cash in, even though this guy hit 2 batters in the same inning. So Rock's back in, and we're at the top of the lineup. Top of the 6th with Ohtani up. Takes the first pitch for a ball. He's been on base every time. Started with a walk-off home run in the first inning. And second pitch is also a ball. Next pitch suddenly drives the count up to 3-0. Ohtani's hardly moved a muscle on these 3 pitches. It's almost like he's taking and making this guy throw strikes before he swings. And that's what the next pitch is, 3-1. Hey, if you're joining us today, please like and subscribe. We're going to make Charlie sad. Also, love to see your comments in the chat. Vote on today's poll. Next pitch, fouled off by Ohtani. Full count, 3-2. The 3-2 pitch, way wide and outside and low, ball 4. So, Ohtani gets a home run and 3 walks to follow. And once again, the Dodgers have the leadoff hitter on base. See if we can do a little bit more with this. Excuse me, even though we've got a 4-0 lead. Andy Pages coming up, one of our best hitters on the season. Swings and misses on the first pitch, 0-1. Second pitch, way high and outside. The catcher had to jump out of his shoes to keep that from getting past him. And Ohtani going down to second base. This catcher's had to work hard today. These pitchers have had some really wild pitches, and I would not have criticized him if one of them at least got by him at this point. But done a good job protecting the plate. And the count now is 2-1 to Pages. Trying to move Shohei along. Next pitch. Outside, well outside for ball 3. The delivery, it's low. Ball 4. Wow. So, and they're going to challenge this? It wasn't even close. This is desperation. It's measured as 2 inches below the strike zone. So, no outs. And on first and second, we've got to cash in on these runners this time. Last 2 innings, none of these runners have come home. And a great guy to drive them home, Freddie Freeman. First pitch to Freeman, swings on it right away and hits it directly to center field for an easy out. So, 1 away. And on first and second, bringing up Mookie Betts, who's 2 for 3 today. Each time, pretty weak contact, but well-placed ball up the middle. And he'll take it for 2 hits, and that drives his batting average a little closer to 200. And the first pitch from Rock is in there for a strike on Mookie Betts. Second pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled to the right for strike 2. Hit the cameraman just outside of the dugout. Seems to be okay. So third pitch to Betts on the way. And swung on and missed. Not even close. Out of the strike zone. Strike 3. So 2 away. With men on first and second. Max Muncy up to bat. They got to make this guy work and take some pitches. First pitch is way outside and low for ball 1 on Max. One and 0. Oh my goodness. Thrown over his head to the backstop. The catcher couldn't even get a glove on it. And the runners advance. Shohei goes to third base. And just has a big old smile on his face. Slid for no reason. Oh boy. Gets up a little bit ginger. I hope that's not the knee that he had some inflammation on. But seems to be in good spirits. So should be okay. My goodness, what a terrible pitch. So once again, second and third. I mean, if Muncy had stood in there, he would have taken one right in the head. But it might have been so high, it could have missed his helmet. Next pitch, ball 3. They got to make this guy throw strikes. Just sit in there and take pitches. And it's not like the White Sox are out of this game. I mean, they're only down 4 runs. They're first place in their division. So you got to think like they're going to yank this guy before too long, even though he's only been there in there for a couple of innings. I don't like how this pitching coach waits so long until somebody's obviously in big trouble all over the map before he goes out and talks to the guy. Same thing with the catcher. Not thrilled with the catcher. Catcher's got to find a way to calm the guy down, and he should be able to talk to the guy before the pitching coach even comes out. So, next pitch, well outside of the strike zone, walks Muncy, loads the bases. So Rock's going to see if he can get on track with 2 outs and bases loaded to Kyle Tucker, who's 1 for 2 today. First pitch is a ball. Leave this guy in, please. He might even walk home a run. He's walked 3 people this inning. His first inning, he hit 2 guys in the back. And second pitch is a ball. And apparently nobody's throwing in the Chicago pen, getting ready to relieve this guy. Love it. Love it. To me, that's mismanagement of your pitchers. Next pitch is a ball, 3-0. Watch him. He's going to I'm going to bring in a run. He does. 4 straight balls. He brings in a run. Walks Shohei. The easiest money ever. And the Dodgers go up 5-0. Bases still loaded with 2 outs. And they still have Rock in there. I mean, I don't know if they've got anybody up in the bullpen, but it's going to take a minute to get somebody to warm up and get this guy out of there. So Call is in, the 7th hitter. He takes the first pitch, as he should, and it's a strike. Second pitch, well outside the strike zone. Ball 1. 1-1. Next pitch, swung on and fouled back. The count is 1-2 to Call. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Still want to be choosy with this guy. And Rock's struggles continue. Next pitch, well outside the strike zone for ball 2. 2-2 with 2 outs. Pitch. Fouled off. Paul stays alive. Got a big smile on his face, saying to himself, man, this would be a great time for a guy that's struggling like me to drive in a couple of runs. So, still 2-2. And on the inside corner, strike 3. Paul looks at it to end the inning. So, relief for Rock. I can't see them bringing him back in next inning. And the Dodgers, feeling like they're in control nonetheless, up 5-0 with Yamamoto pitching a no-hitter at this point. But, man, I don't know how many hitters we've left on base. Not good, especially for how poor the pitching's been from the White Sox today. Going to the bottom of the 6th. So last year's World Series MVP, Yoshi, coming into the game and getting ready to start the next inning in search of a no-hitter. And right now they're looking at the mound. Pretty sizable divot just in front of the rubber, so they might ask somebody to come in and fill it for them. I don't know if if I really feel these palm trees on the Dodgers socks. I like palm trees. Put them into my own stadium logo. But I don't know. Guess I'm just too traditional. So Yamamoto calling for the guy to come in and pound the dirt. Bringing in some extra dirt, and it's going to be a little bit before we get back on track. Still trying to get the bucket open. Finally get the lock off and open it. Now they're filling the hole. So fill the hole, flatten it, and now Yamamoto's going to come in and see how it feels. Take a practice throw or two. Now we're ready to get to the bottom of the sixth. And Yamamoto's going to face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in this inning. First pitch. Curveball, strike one. Making it look easy. Pitch well inside, swung on, fouled. Strike two. So 0-2, quickly to the first batter. Next pitch on the way, high and outside for ball one. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So 1-2 to Gonzalez. The pitch. Low for ball two. Yamamoto looks like he's still working on that mound. Not completely comfortable. Shows on the next pitch. Gets away from him. Curveball well outside for ball three. One of the few 3-ball counts he's had today. Full count. And the batter steps back. I think he's got 3 wristbands on his arm. And then he's got one of those ridiculous arm shields that extend like 3 inches down. steps back in. 3-2 count. Will Yamamoto keep the no-hitter alive? He does! Swung on, strike 3. Another strikeout for Yamamoto. And still only up to 70 pitches. So next up, swung on, first pitch, right down the right field line. Freddie Freeman dives, stops it from going into right field, and Yamamoto covers for a second out. Freeman able to shovel it to him, and the no-hitter is still alive. It was hit pretty hard, and Freeman did a great job of getting to the right field line, doing like a half slide to pick it up off the dirt. Yamamoto covered quickly and easily, well in front of the batter. And we are at 2 outs all of a sudden. Now, going to the 9-hitter with 2 outs, Quero. First pitch, fly to left. It's going to be a tough play. And it's in foul territory, but Call makes the catch up against the netting. For 3 outs. Great job by Alex Call. He's got wheels. He can run. And some of the White Sox fans jawing with him, and he looks at him like, what are you talking about, man? We're dominating you today. I guess they're going to try to get their entertainment however they can, but it is not right now coming from their ball team. So, excellent job by Yamamoto. Still perfect through 6 innings. With some excellent help from the defense, first base and left field this last inning. So now we're coming down the back stretch, the final 3 innings. And at the top of the 7th, we're going to have Dylan Rushing, the catcher, leading off for the Dodgers. That was the closest thing we had to some kind of drama on the defensive side. But the drama was, and it was minimal, needless to say. Yamamoto needing to get the divot fixed on the pitching mound to delay the inning. Looking a little uncomfortable initially after it was fixed. But striking out a hitter and having a well-hit ball down the right foul line, but in play, covered nicely by Freddie Freeman, who flipped it to Yamamoto. And then an outstanding play by Call, just at where the fence was. And so, Rock is still in. These White Sox might be waving the white flag by leaving this guy in. I mean, he's been horrible, horrible. And to start the inning, he throws 2 balls. I don't know, it's only 5 runs. Rushing is up, who's 0 for 1 today. And the next pitch outside 3-0. Who'd have thunk that? Total non-surprise. So, next pitch, inside for a strike, 3-1. Next pitch, inside as well. Rushing looks at it for strike 2. Looks like he thought about challenging it and decided not to. Which honestly, like, you should just swing if you think it's close and you have a chance to make contact. Next pitch on the way, swung on, strike 3. So 1 away for the Dodgers on the strikeout from Dylan Rushing. So that'll bring up the 9-hitter, Rojas, who's 0 for 1 today. And what do you know? Throws a ball, 1-0. It just feels like they're trying to ride rock and save the guys that they'd have to use in relief, because unlike some other sports like football and basketball, 1 win or 1 loss isn't quite as big a deal in the sport of baseball. Now, second pitch in the dirt, and it's a ball, and Rojas jumps back and is injured from the jump back. The trainer comes out to look at him. Can't tell for sure, but it looks like a lower leg contusion of some kind, but he's going to continue. You know, that's old man pain. Take a little hop back with both feet and you're like, hey man, where did that come from? But it's going to continue. And the next pitch is a ball, 3-0. I mean, at this point, you got probably a better than 50-50 chance if you just stand there in the batter's box that this guy's either going to walk you or hit you. Pitch on the way, and right on cue, ball 4. Rojas to first base. What you don't know is if he's in pain. And he looks like he's limping a little bit, so they're going to bring in a pinch runner for him. Good move with a 5-0 lead, 1 out, and Shohei Ohtani coming up. Get somebody that can run well over there. Might be able to drive in another run. First pitch for a ball. I think they brought in Espinal as the pinch runner at first base. He can run pretty well. So the 1-0 pitch to Ohtani. Strong contact made, center field. And the center field runs back a little bit, but not too difficult to play. And that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Andy Pages, who was 1 for 3 today, singled and walked. First pitch, fouled off, strike 1. Next pitch, ball 1, 1-1. And 1-1 pitch. Down low to Pages. Drives it deep to center field. But they make the catch on the warning track for the third out. And Yamamoto getting ready to come out and see if he can continue perfection, squatting down in the dugout. Not sure if he's stretching, praying, or doing both. But definitely getting ready to lock in, or should I say stay locked in. All right. Yoshi's back in there. No runs, no hits. Struck out 6 so far today. Be interesting to see if he continues on this roll, how long Dave Roberts will leave him in the game. First pitch, right on the corner, paints it again for strike 1. Next pitch on the way, also on the edge. Boy, that was super close. Called strike 2, and they're challenging it. I mean, and misses by a paper-thin margin. Let's say it's less than 1/10 of an inch outside, and so the challenge is successful for ball 1. So, next pitch on the way, fouled off, strike 2. Technology can measure a ball and say it's outside by less than 1/10 of an inch. And that overrules the umpire. Umpires, enjoy your days while you still have a job. 1-2 pitch. Misses inside, 2-2. So, 2-2 pitch. Goes down swinging for another strikeout. 7th strikeout of the day for Yamamoto. All right, if you're a Dodgers fan, 7th strikeout, you can go to a Jack in the Box tomorrow in LA, get a free Jack. I think you have to buy a drink though. So 1 away, 7 strikeouts for Yamamoto. Keep it rolling, baby. Starts Vargas, 1-0. Vargas has been the most dangerous hitter for the White Sox recently, but he, like everybody's, been blanked out today. But a little bit of hope starts with ball 1. Second pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 1. 1-1 with 1 out. Next pitch fouled off for strike 2, 1-2. Strike 3 called, but Vargas is going to challenge. See if it stands. And the challenge is successful. Ball instead. I'm going to have to take Charlie off the screen. He's going to be so sad. But he's also going to be sad if you don't like and subscribe, and you don't participate in the chat. So 1 out still, 2-2 count. The pitch. Ooh, line hard to left field. But Alex Call makes the catch. Woo. Smoke to left field. Smoke to left field. But Call didn't have to run too far. Not a gimme play. But at this point, Yoshi with the cheat code, last year's World Series MVP, has retired 42 straight batters. And still working on perfection in this game. Bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. Starts the 3-hitter, Benintendi, with a ball. One and one to Benintendi, who is 0 for like everybody else today. 0 for 2, batting .232 on the season. Next pitch in the dirt, 2-1. Next pitch in the strike zone, fouled. Out of play to the left field side. 2-2. So 2-2 with 2 outs. Yamamoto looking to get out of this inning. Not in any kind of serious trouble as far as the outcome of the game, but working on a memorable outing. The pitch inside, full count. So 3-2 to Benintendi with 2 away. The pitch. Inside and swung on. Fouled away. Still 3-2. The pitch was Yamamoto's 88th pitch today, and still on that fastball got close to 100 miles an hour. See what he delivers on this pitch. Right in the middle of the strike zone, fouled away, out of bounds, and caught by Muncy for the 3rd out. So once again, helped by the defense. Not that he's needed much of that today. That wasn't a particularly difficult play for Muncy. Only about halfway between the stands and the left field line, but makes the play for the 3rd out. And through 7, Yamamoto with no hits. for joining us today, LA Press Box. This is the community for LA sports fans. And appreciate you joining us to perhaps be witnessing a little piece of history with Yamamoto dominating today and through 7 innings, not giving up a hit. So the Chicago White Sox bring in Brandon Eisert as the new pitcher. Kind of overdue if you ask me. If you're still trying to battle your way back in this game. But, I mean, a 5-run deficit for the White Sox looks absolutely huge when Yamamoto's pitching the way that he is. Freddie Freeman's up to start off this inning. And he goes up early, 2-1 on the count, with no outs. Yamamoto looking at the iPad in the dugout. Always looking to make adjustments, see what he can do to finish strong and make some history. I can't see Dave Roberts pulling him from the game at this point. I mean, it's certainly not the body language of Yamamoto in the dugout right now. Freeman lines it foul along the right field line, full count. And the next pitch on the way, low and outside. Freddie kind of reaches for it, makes contact, and pretty easy out by the first baseman, who stretches to his right and then flips it to the pitcher for the first out of the inning. One away. Brings up Mookie Betts, who's 2 for 4 today. Started off with 2 hits. Both of them weakly hit up the middle. He'll take them. They still counted as hits. And the Dodgers have 1 away, top of the 8th. Eisert starts him off 1-1. And the next pitch, slightly outside the strike zone, but good solid contact by Mookie into right field for a base hit. Not a baby Mook. 3 hits in the same day. Boy, that could be a big lift for the Dodgers. So Mookie on first with 1 out. And that'll bring up the 5-hitter, third baseman Max Muncy. Early count to Muncy, 1-1. Next pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back. Top of the strike zone. 1-2. 1 away. Mookie Betts on first base. Yamamoto working on a perfect game at the end of 7 innings. Next pitch, low and outside, check swing. No, it didn't go. Count is 2-2. "5-0 Dodgers. Got off to a real strong start in the first inning. Home run by Muncy. Before that, leadoff hitter for the 5th time this year, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run. White Sox pitchers have been very wild today. They've been about as bad as Yamamoto's been good. And I'm surprised we don't have well more than 5 runs at this point. So 3-2 to Muncy. Mookie Betts on first with 1 away. And the pitch, driven deep and high to right field. Another home run for Muncy. 2 home runs. A 2-run shot to put the Dodgers up 7-0 with only 1 out in the 8th inning. Oh, you love to see that. Love to see it. And Yamamoto nods in cool agreement, cool approval from the dugout, getting ready to just stay locked in and go out there again. So 7-zip Dodgers. And Kyle Tucker up with 1 out. Eisert starts him off at 0-2. Next pitch. Oh, so high. It was just off the catcher's glove to the backstop. But nobody on that can take advantage of that. Ball 1, 1-2. Next pitch, high and outside. Ball 2. Fourth multi-home run game for Max Muncy of this year, 23rd of his career. This is the kind of run production you want to see from the Dodgers, and they've really gotten stronger, even though they have some injury problems. They've been bitten a little bit by the injury bug the last month. The last month has been probably their best hitting month so far this season. You like to see that. So Tucker in the 6th spot playing right field quickly finds himself with a full count. 1 out. Swung on a miss, strike 3. 2 away. Yoshi's got his glove on. He's ready to go back out there. He's chomping at the bit. But first, Alex Call coming up 0-2 on the day and chases a ball for strike 1. Pitch, low and outside for ball 1. What a professional Yamamoto is. Of course, because he's on the verge potentially of making history. They keep cutting to the dugout to show him, and he's staying loose. He's doing like dynamic stretching. He's looking at film. He's not just sitting there. He's doing all of the small things that it takes to be elite. And that's the reason he was the World Series MVP last season. I mean, he pitched about as much as you could pitch. And not only was he dominant, but he was clutch in key situations. So 2-2 to call. Ball low and outside. Lazy swing, popped to center field, easily made. 3rd out of the inning. And Yoshi's coming back out. So Yamamoto coming out for the bottom of the 8th inning. 6 outs away from perfection. Not a single walk today. 7 strikeouts. Perfect game through 7 innings. It is so rare to pitch. Sorry, I'm a little keyed up watching what's happening, but so rare to pitch a no-hitter, but even more rarefied air to pitch a perfect game where no one even reaches base. And early on in the first batter, Yamamoto runs him to 1-1. Ball 2 to Montgomery. Yamamoto's going to definitely earn it here if he's going to achieve perfection. He's pitching to the middle of the lineup, the meat of the lineup, and you know, his pitch count is around 100 pitches now. And 3-1 now. The 3-1 pitch to Montgomery. Foul tip into the glove, strike 2. 3-2. Yamamoto shakes off the communication for the first couple of suggestions of pitches. Now he looks like he feels good about the last suggestion. So the payoff pitch with no outs. Contact made, a scorcher. Oh, right to Freddie Freeman. Line drive straight to him. Freddie Freeman's made probably 6 crucial plays today. Not all of them super difficult, but I mean, that was a scorcher. Over 100 miles an hour off the bat easily. He had to take half a step to his right, but still not easy to make a play like that. We just kind of take it for granted when you're a major leaguer. So 1 out, and perfection is still alive for Yamamoto. And starts off the next batter, 1-0. Splitter misses high and outside. And the next pitch, grounded to short. Mookie Betts fields it cleanly, throws the first for the second out. 2 away. So, 2 away. Bottom of the 8th. Yoshi Yamamoto working on the perfect game with 2 outs. First pitch is a ball. Next pitch. Paints the lower edge of the strike zone, as he's been painting the strike zone edges all day long. 1-1. So the 1-1 with 2 outs. Swung on, rolled to Mookie Betts. And he flubbed it. It went right to Mookie Betts and he choked. It just rolled right up his arm. Wow. Gosh, dang it. And the man takes first. First base runner of the day. Let's see this again. Ball was outside. Guy reached, made contact. Hit him in the wrist. Wasn't even in the glove. Took his eye off the ball. Man. Still working on the no-hitter, though. And that's certainly no fault of Yamamoto's. Which is why you can argue, I mean, the perfect game really belongs to everybody because the defense has to make plays. You can't strike out every single hitter. It's never been done. So 0-1, start the next batter. And ultimately, I mean, all you can do is compete with yourself. There's nothing you can do about somebody just letting the ball kick right off. So, 2 away and 0-2. With a runner at first. Chop to second base for the easy out. And so 1 error and 1 base runner left on. But still an amazing game for Yamamoto. And the no-hitter is still alive for him going into the 9th inning. So, at the end of 8, 7-0 Dodgers. So, about to start the 9th. And to show Yamamoto after that last inning, patting Mookie Betts, saying it's okay. And flashing a huge smile. You love that. I mean, these are the small things that make you play harder for each other as a team. And you don't blame each other, you don't have resentment like that. And that's why they're champions. Yamamoto goes right back to work. He's got his notebook with his notes. He's going to be watching video again. We're going to try to close out this no-hitter. 3 outs to go. Meanwhile, Dylan Rushing comes up. And so far today, he's 0 for 2, batting .272. And early count on him is 2-1. Next pitch, ball 2. Davis in on the mound. windup and the delivery. And Rushing looks at it for strike 3, 1 away. September 6th of 2025, Yoshinobu had 1 out to go for the no-hitter and gave it up. So that's the last thing you'd want to see in this situation. Number 9 hitter Espinal comes up, and first pitch is a strike. 0-1. Fouls it to the left-hand side. Next pitch, swung on and driven right down the middle. Base hit. Espinal goes to first base with 1 out, which brings up Shohei Ohtani. And on first, 1 away. 7-0 Dodgers. And Yamamoto working on a no-hitter. Davis starts off Shohei with a ball. And the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, grounded to the right side. And the White Sox turn 2 to end the inning quickly. So the real drama of the day, Yoshi Yamamoto getting ready to take the mound and see if he can clinch this no-hitter. 3 outs away. He's thrown 103 pitches so far today. Dodgers have not had a pitcher throw a no-hitter since 2018. You like to see it happen to a guy that seems like a good dude, a good team player, not just by his demeanor, but what he was willing to do for the Dodgers in a tooth and nail fight for a World Series championship last year. So he's thrown 103 pitches today. The most he's ever thrown in a game is 113. So obviously he's getting close to that limit. At this point, he's very active in the dugout, and he's going to go the distance one way or another. So Peter's up to bat first, and the first pitch is low for a ball, 1-0. Second pitch, right down the pipe, blasted to right deep for a home run. Yoshi Yamamoto gives up a home run to Jacob Gonzalez from SoCal. And you can see the disappointment as the no-hitter is gone. So now you'll wonder if they'll pull Yamamoto just to save him, because he's at 104, 105 pitches for the day. It's an awesome outing. Score is now 7-1 with no outs. I mean, this is like BP. And I mean, you can understand it being over 100 pitches, being in the 9th inning. And if there was going to be a pitch that you could drive deep, that was it. It was right down the middle of the strike zone. But to leave Yamamoto in, and he tried to be stoic about it, kind of just waved it off. But you know he's disappointed. So, next batter up, and the early count is 1-1. So now Yamamoto's working for a complete game win. And the next pitch on the upper edge of the strike zone, 1-2. Curve in the lower part of the strike zone, kind of a weak slash at the ball, pops it up to center field, and Pages makes the catch. So, one away, and Dave Roberts is coming out to congratulate Yamamoto and take him out. And Chicago fans stand on their feet and give him a standing out, which he deserves. You know, and he didn't hang his head after that home run. Still had a good affect about it, said it's on me. I put the ball right down the middle of the strike zone. But they're all applauding for him as he walks to the dugout. Great outing for Yamamoto. And high fives all around in the Dodger dugout. Boy, Mookie Betts has got to feel just a little bit relieved, huh? The perfect game wasn't all on him. So, brief commercial break, and it looks like the Dodgers are going to bring in Alex Vesia to try to close this game out. So Vesia's in, and they're working on the mound for him. A different preference when it comes to how the dirt lies on the mound for him. He's pitched 30 games this year, and he's probably been the most reliable reliever for the Dodgers throughout the season. Pretty interesting that they've had to get up there and work on the mound more than once today. Not a great surface that Chicago has here. Looks really rough. Not just the pitcher's mound, but the infield. Although that was not an excuse for Mookie Betts to kick that ball. Just about ready to get this game going again. Yamamoto all smiles in the dugout, no pouting. But it just shows you how difficult it is to pitch a no-hitter and a perfect game. Yamamoto's now been close to a no-hitter twice in his Dodger career. He wasn't able to finish either one. Next LA Press Box broadcast will be Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Dodgers will be hosting the Tampa Bay Rays, who've been hanging around in the standings this year if you're looking at the overall record of major leagues. In fact, the Rays earlier in the season were above the Dodgers before the Dodger bats started to come alive. Thanks to everybody joining the LA Press Box today. Your community for LA sports fans. So Alex Vesia getting ready to take the mantle for Yamamoto. Base is empty, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. And Vesia is facing the top of the lineup. Everson Pereira in as a pinch hitter, batting .250 on the season with 3 home runs. I like Vesia's body language and his look overall. He kind of plays uptight, looks a little bit uptight. His clothes are tight. He's got a long beard, but it's trimmed tight, and he's animated. You know, he's not one of these guys. I've talked about this before. That is coming in there trying to be stoic. He doesn't pout when things don't go well, but I mean, he is fired up. And he's got a beard that's like down to the top of his chest. So I like his style. It's a little bit flamboyant in that way. And the pitch to the one hitter, grounded to third, and the second out of the inning is complete. So Miguel Vargas coming up. And the Dodgers are one away from getting a really solid win against first-place divisional team. Starts him up high for ball 1. 1-0 to Vargas, who's 0 for 3 on the day. Second pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 1. So the pitch, the 1-1 count, fouled back, 1-2. Vesia fired up. Where's the number 51? Trying to close this game out quickly. 1-2 pitch, just on the outside of the strike zone, popped up to center field, and Andy Pages puts this game away. Yamamoto and Ohtani high-five each other. Vesia does what Vesia does. Closes the game out for the Dodgers. So, outstanding outing for Yamamoto. Shohei grabs him and puts him in the front of the line. And this is one of the things that the Dodgers have. I mean, they have camaraderie, definitely, and appreciation for each other when they perform well. But also, because they do have some all-stars in the pitching staff, it's good that they have this competition between each other to kind of push each other. So that's going to do it for LA Press Box today. Thanks for joining us. And once again, we will see you on Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be a home game for the Dodgers. We'll come in at 7 p.m. Pacific time and give you a quick preview before the Dodgers lace them up against the Tampa Bay Rays, who've been hanging around in the standings for top records in the major leagues this year. So thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your weekend.